Hey, Astro Baddies and Daddies, this is Wine Astrology, the podcast for the witchy and the bitchy.
Hello, Astro Baddies and Daddies. Welcome to Wine Astrology, the podcast for the witchy and the bitchy. As you all know, I am joined here today by Aimee of Downtown Winery. As you can see, Nicole is not present. She's on vacation, living her best life in Trinidad, but Aimee's here to fill in. Really big shoes to fill, Aimee. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Okay. As you can see, we are doing a little wine tasting. Downtown Winery is located in Toronto. We are on the Ossington Strip. If you live in the city, you'll know that this is one of the best streets in the city for eats, treats, and wine. And Aimee's going to tell us why.
Yes. So I can just start with a little bit of history. We've actually been on Ossington for the last 40 years. So we have seen the changes and the transition. But we actually started across the street at 23 Ossington and then moved over to 30 Ossington back in 96. But I would definitely say in the last 15 years, there's been such a movement. There's such amazing restaurants on the strip. And it is a very desired area. So it's very exciting to be a part of this community. And we're excited to be, that local wine bar where people come, enjoy, take advantage of our happy hour, enjoy our wines, our treats, and all that.
And the location is gorgeous. If you are looking at our Instagram, I have, of course, been taking sneaky peeks of the setup today, but it's a beautiful location. We are here in kind of like your cold cellar, is it?
It is. This is our private room, but we actually do very small production of wine in here as well, and then we'll store our wines. But this is where I host all of my wine tastings, and then we do private events in here as well, so it's a bit multi-purpose.
Beautiful and gorgeous. It literally,
thank you.
It looks like the inside of a sauna almost.
Yeah, it was like meant to mimic the inside of a barrel, to kind of give you that vibe. Yes.
Yes, I feel that. Now I know what the wine feels like.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm really excited to start tasting. The first half of the episode obviously is going to focus on Downtown Winery. We're going to focus on wine. Aimee has selected 3 wines for us to taste today. So we're going to jump right in, get a little bit of wine background as we always do, and I'm going to let you take it away, Aimee.
Okay. So first wine we're having today, first and foremost, all the 3 wines that we've selected are Portuguese wines. Our family is Portuguese, so of course we take a lot of pride in bringing these wines into Canada. I feel like Portugal is such a small country and most people are not well versed with our wine, so it definitely is my mission to expose it to the rest of the world. A fun little fact, Portuguese people are like per capita in Portugal, we consume the most wine in the world. So we love our wine.
That's not hard to believe at all.
Absolutely.
It's such a big part of the culture to just have a glass of wine with a meal, just hanging out. But it definitely is, drinking wine, I would say in Portugal, it's definitely a social activity.
Absolutely.
And family is very big in Portugal as well. So of course, it's just something that goes hand in hand that you kind of do.
For sure. And that's one thing, even when I'm hosting guests here, I know wine sometimes can be a little bit pretentious and it can be quite intimidating for a lot of us. And
not on this show.
No, exactly. And this is the one thing I always say is I grew up and wine was a staple on the table, right? So what wine represents to me most importantly is family, is friends, is togetherness, is laughter, is love. And that's the source, right? And that's where I think we need to bring it back to the basics. So having said that, first wine we're going to be sampling is a white wine from the Alentejo region of Portugal. A little bit about Alentejo, it encompasses pretty much a third of the country. It is the largest grape growing region of Portugal. And it's a very known region. I was actually there last year, and it's such a the wines that they produce there are incredible simply because the weather there is very hot. Like it's quite Mediterranean-like. So the grapes will have this tendency to ripen fully because there's over 3,000 hours of sunlight in the region. So you get this beautiful kind of ripe, fresh, fruity wine. Now, first white wine here, as I mentioned, the varietal is Fernão Pires. So this is an indigenous grape to Portugal, very, very known across Portugal. But it really will present itself with like lovely aromatics. It's quite floral. You'll get a little citrus, you'll get a little apricot-y notes, but let's give it a try.
I love an aromatic wine. Anyone who knows me knows I love a Gewürztraminer, I love a Sauvignon Blanc, I love a Felangina, like anything with big on the nose and bigger on the palate, I'm here for.
Yes.
So.
So quite citrus. This one, I would say, is pretty light overall, but as you can probably taste, like there's definitely the acidity. So like the more you salivate, yes, the more acid a wine has. And this one here, I'm even capturing that level of acidity. It is quite active in there. It's almost, you get a little bit more, we even have a descriptor where it's like a lemon drop.
I was going to say, it was like definitely a lemon zest for me. But it's hitting the back of your throat. I feel like the Pavlov dog. I'm like,
Yeah, you're salivating and salivating. That's amazing. That's the acidity, right? So it's quite bright. A lot of these wines, especially the white wines in the region, they are kind of designed to be consumed younger because you want to have that freshness and that vibrancy in the wine overall.
I would crush this with like a brie and a good like compa.
Yeah, that sounds delightful. It's a nice even like just like appetizer wine overall. One thing as well, like when it comes to food pairing, wines that tend to have a lot of bright acidity, pair it up with food that has bright acidity as well, okay? Or even saltier foods could work beautifully with this. But that
I told you I wasn't gonna drink at all, and here I am, just constantly.
I know, it's okay.
Sorry.
You're at a wine bar, you can't help yourself.
Right? I'm doing what's meant to be done here.
It's funny sometimes when I'm out, it's like, guys, I'm working. Like, I literally am doing my research. Like, I have to try wine. It's my research. Okay, shall we jump to the next?
Yes.
So this would be our red wine from Alentejo, same region. This one here is a blend. So there's 4 grape varietals here. Touriga Nacional, which is actually kind of the noble grape of Portugal.
Yes.
It's a big, bold grape. Then we have Aragonês, which is also known as Tempranillo in Spain. It's the same grape. And that is actually the most planted grape in Portugal. Alicante, and then Trincadeira. So those would be the 4 grapes in here. Portugal tends to blend a lot of their wines because every grape provides a different personality, right? So they want to blend their wines accordingly. And
it's like a Gemini.
Yeah, they have a lot of different faces, right? Yeah. They have a lot of different personalities. But this one here, because the region, as I mentioned, is quite dry and hot, you're definitely going to get much more ripened fruit in this one here, okay? This one also sat in some oak, so you might pick up a little bit of those sweet spices coming through, but let's give it a try and you let me know what you think.
Just from the nose, I loved it. And I love a ripe fruit. Like, I love a plum, blackberry. Oh my God.
It's yum.
It is. It's almost kind of chocolatey too, like dark chocolate.
Yeah. There's this little level of toastiness to it as well, right? Because it did sit in the oak, so it's having that impact there. But I feel you, like those plums, those blackberries are showing up.
And it's very smooth.
Yes, it's 13% alcohol, but I find it's very approachable. This to me would be something more kind of medium, going into that full body red. Okay?
I feel that.
And the last one.
It's delicious. Oh my God.
It's so yum, right?
I'm gonna have to grab a bottle before I go.
Okay. The last one is our Syrah. Now this is from an area called Torres Vedras. Okay, so this is about, I want to say, an hour north of Lisbon, this region. And consider Portugal, they've been producing wine, well,
forever.
Especially forever. We're talking perhaps 12th century, perhaps even more. But this one in particular, the Syrah, okay, is not a native grape to Portugal. However, it is native They say from France. But we have been growing Syrah there since the early 90s. So it is relatively new to the region there, but it is doing beautifully in the area.
I feel like it would do well.
It does, yeah. I mean, this one, because it's from
climate.
so Toj Vedrej, we are a little bit closer to the ocean. It's a bit more coastal. It's going to be a little bit fresher. So it will kind of compare to a Syrah from like the Rhone region of France. Okay? But more peppery. It's going to be big and bold. This one here is 14.5% alcohol. Has a lot of personality, perhaps like the Sagittarius.
Yes. It's like, I wonder who's a Sagittarius in this room.
But yeah, this one you're gonna get a little bit more peppery notes. There's that herbaceousness. You might even get a little bit of cocoa on this one as well.
Okay.
And we did 20% of the wine we put in oak, and then we blended it into like an unoaked Syrah, and then we did our blend that way. But this one, is quite aromatic.
It is. Definitely got the pepper on
You get
nose.
the pepperiness, yeah. It's like almost instantaneous. A little bit more gamey. This is like a beautiful barbecue wine.
You know,
It's spicy, yeah?
It is.
It has a little pica.
It does. Oh my god, that's so yummy in a wine. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very much like Nicole is the red wine girl on the podcast. I'm the white wine girl, and I know she'd kill for that. She'd love it. She likes a big red, but this is very. You know what I find intimidating about red wine? Mainly, I would say tannins. Tannins scare me. I hate that like mouth puckering feel.
Yeah, that astringency.
So, yes, and the fact that so many red wines, especially with grapes that are a little bit more bold, will give you that, and then it lingers because the finish is like super long, so it kind of like takes over your palate in a way, right? I don't get that from either of these. Even though you can tell just like right on the nose that it is extremely aromatic as a red wine, and there is a lot of flavor behind it, but it kind of melts away.
Yes.
So definitely.
There's a nice little balance to it. I mean, the wine is still relatively young, but one thing I will say, especially wines that are super tannic in that way, pair it up with food that has substantial fat. Because what that's going to do is the fat is going to coat your palate, and it's going to really protect you from those tannins. So food makes a big difference. I know it's very difficult, especially if a wine is big, bold, and so many like high level of tannins. It's difficult to sip on that without food, right?
Yes.
So food is a huge game changer. But even if you were to swoosh this in your mouth, this will give you that little bit of pucker as well.
Really?
Let's give it a try.
Right away.
Let's give it a try.
Let me take a bigger sip.
Like swoosh it as if you're using mouthwash and see what textures you get, what feels you get.
I definitely got I was gonna say, it's like the hairs on the back of my tongue are standing up. But you get the prickles a little bit.
You get the little prickles up in here, exactly.
You do, but still manageable. Like,
agreed.
I was gonna say like a Brunello or something, or like a Barbaresco. I feel like I can't take those wines because I'm not somebody who's out eating steak all the time.
Yes.
So I do prefer lighter wines that, are more, carb oriented because I love carbs.
Me too. Give me some bread and olive oil and I'm good.
Yes. But these were all so delicious.
I'm so glad.
I'm so happy that you chose these, especially because this season on the show, Nicole and I have been talking a lot about really honing in on what the Toronto wine scene has to offer, because there are so many cool wine bars, bottle shops, just on Ossington already. Like, I passed by Salt Wine Bar. I did my birthday dinner there a couple of years ago before I knew anything about wine, and it was kind of overwhelming because their wine selection is huge.
Yes.
But there is so much going on in the city, so I'm so glad that you took the time to kind of sit down and walk through this with us, specifically concerning Portuguese wine, because I feel like we don't know enough about them.
Yes.
And
agreed.
wine is, again, something that can be very pretentious, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to approach it, or most people want to approach it with this level of like sophistication. So they're like, oh, French wines and, you know, Italians, whatever. Portugal has a lot to offer. And again, like you said, been making and producing wine for eons.
Exactly.
So, you know, they kind of know
they know what they're doing. They definitely know what they're doing, and they do take a lot of pride in what they do. And, you know, the wine world, the winemaking world, like, it's actually a very hard-working industry. It's very laborious. Like, the conditions that these people are in, it's tough. So, like, wine is glamorous for us
when we're drinking it.
When we're drinking it, but you know, the production side of things, the amount of hard work that it takes, and then dependency on Mother Nature and the weather, right? Yes. Everyone is just praying, like, let's have a great vintage, let's have a great year, let's see what the weather is going to give us, because this is one of the few beverages that is controlled by Mother Nature.
Yes.
Right? So we never know what the result is going to be at the end of the season.
Love.
Yeah, it's a huge labor of love, right? So in Portugal, I mean, in Europe in general, they do have lots of regulations around winemaking, and like there's so much integrity around the winemaking as well. There's a lot of restrictions in terms of things that they can use, whether it's irrigation, pesticides. They definitely have a very more natural approach.
Yes.
In general, they're very mindful of that. It's like, we've been making wine this way for thousands of years. We're going to keep it this way.
Yes.
You know, and they don't break that tradition.
Yes.
And they do not.
They want to, it kind of is another thing about legacy, right? So in legacy winemaking, you definitely want to adhere to traditions to kind of honor the people that came before you, because obviously now we have different systems and tools that make maybe the harvesting process, maceration, all of that easier that we didn't have in the past. Yeah. But kind of keeping in mind, you know, following moon cycles, or, you know, doing things like that, taking a biodynamic approach to winemaking and making sure that you're doing like low intervention harvests and all of that stuff. Like you mentioned, the integrity of the wine is kind of maintained, and the product also maintains its consistency through that.
Absolutely. And it's going back even, you know, the biodynamic aspect of things, right? Even following the moon cycle, we also sell grapes seasonally here in Toronto at one of our other locations, and it's a lot of, you know, the older Europeans who are buying grapes and making wine at home.
Yes.
And you would be surprised with the amount of people who will call us and be like, should I bottle when it's the full moon or the new moon? Like, a lot of people, that generation very much works around the moon cycle as well, which is very cool.
It's
so
like they're astro baddies without even knowing it.
They are.
I love that. And speaking of the moon and everything that's been happening with the moon, we are going to dive into our astrology segment.
Okay.
And you guys all know the first thing that we have to do when we have a new guest on is ask them what their big three is. So, Aimee, do you know your sun, moon, and rising?
I just know I'm a Sagittarius.
You're Sagittarius.
I don't know what my rising or my...
Okay, well...
I'm December 18th, if that
December
helps.
8th, oh my god. Why do I meet so many people with this birthday?
Really? December 18th? Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
I'll tell you about it off camera.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do your birth chart, and don't worry, we can clip this part because a lady never tells her age. But
it's all good, honey. It's all good. I'm 40 and proud.
You're 40?
I am.
You don't look 40. Well,
it's the wine.
But
it's
does
the wine.
What does 40 look like, really? That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like,
it's what you feel.
Exactly.
You know?
But I'm not gonna be. This is like my little cousin. He's 12, and when it was a couple of years ago, I think I was like 31, and he's like, "How old are you? Like 20?" And I was like, "No, I'm over 30." He's like, "Oh my god!" And then he ran to his dad, who's like in his 40s, and was like, "Oh my god, did you know Luigi's more than 30? She's so old."
Yeah.
I was like, "You're 12. I would expect like a 6-year-old to say this."
Yeah. No, it's so true. But even when we were young, right? You would think like, wow, 40, or like, it's like, shoot, that's it's halfway through life.
Now I'm just
But now it's like once you actually start reaching it, it's like, no, I still feel good.
Exactly.
I still feel good.
You still go through once you hit all of the milestones, you're kind of just like, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Another
we
year's gone
evolve,
by.
right? We evolve, we learn from our lessons, all of that. There is change, but our source, our being, right? It's there.
1985, right?
84.
84, that's
Yeah.
true.
In December,
Wow.
yeah.
Like George Orwell. And do you know what time you were born by any chance?
I would, what's so sad? My mother doesn't even know what time I was born.
Neither does mine.
Really? Oh my
And
goodness.
she
It's like,
gaslights me about it.
yeah, and I'm like, how do you not know? I'm like, I have a 5-year-old daughter. I'm like, 6/13 is when she was born. Like, are you serious? She tells me between 12 and 2
A.M.
p.m.
P.M. Okay.
p.m. afternoon.
So you have a day chart. Okay, let's put 1 a.m.
Just to
be safe.
Yeah.
1 p.m. Sorry, I don't know why I said a.m. In Toronto.
Toronto, yes.
All right, amazing. And this is going to tell us. All right, so according to this birth time, you're a Sagittarius sun with a Scorpio moon and an
What?
Aries rising.
What?
That's very interesting. And
What?
because you have a day chart, the majority of your planets are in the top half of your birth chart. So this is your birth chart.
Okay.
You guys, Aimee's looking at her birth chart for the first time.
Yes.
This is so exciting.
Tell me more.
Okay, so Scorpio moon people tend to be very intense and emotionally. They're pretty stoic about how they react. They have more of a controlled approach to things, but I find that they kind of smolder and seethe without lashing out, really. Scorpio is like the placement where if it's unevolved, they're planning like long-term revenge if somebody wrongs them. So you'll never really know what's going on beneath the surface until one day your life is in shambles and you're like, oh, did I screw a Scorpio person over like 12 years ago? Maybe. That's what it's given.
Yeah.
They can be very emotionally volatile if they don't know how to regulate themselves emotionally a lot.
Okay.
But with a Sagittarius sun, Sagittarius people tend to be very optimistic, carefree, like not a care in the world. Things go wrong. Oh well, like tomorrow's another day.
Yes.
Like very nonchalant energy. I think with a Scorpio moon, there's a lot of emotional depth there that you don't really share with just anybody. Aries rising, if you are an Aries rising, we don't know. We need to have a sit down with your mom and figure that out.
Yes.
But if you are an Aries rising, I know that Aries rising people tend to kind of be big personalities. You know, they light up a room. Some Aries rising celebrities that you might know, Stevie Nicks is an Aries rising, Rihanna's an Aries rising, very dominating presence.
And Aries is fire as well.
Yes. So you have a lot of fire in your chart,
Yeah.
which is cool. What I can also see from here is if you are an Aries rising, that would put your sun in the 9th house, which is perfect place for Sagittarius sun. Sagittarius loves to explore, loves to explore not just physically by going to different places, traveling and everything, but spiritually. So it's very open to religious experiences, very open to spirituality in a sense, anything metaphysical. They love philosophy. So it does well in that house because you're able to really open yourself to new experiences and gain insight and value, and you don't really hold yourself to one thing or another. You kind of just go where the wind blows and whatever suits your own personal philosophy at the time.
There's a lot of truth there.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, another thing I love to look at is where the Venus and Mars are. So yours are both in Aquarius. I find that Venus is basically, in astrology, people look at the Venus sign to kind of realize what you are looking for in a partner. So they say, or traditional astrologers say, that Mars will tell you what a man is looking for in a partner and what attracts them to a woman, and Venus will tell you what a woman is looking for in a man and what attracts them
This is getting juicy.
to a man. So, that was reversed. Venus is what men want. Mars is what women want.
Got it.
So, in the masculine and feminine principle, and obviously, if they're heterosexual, I guess, which not everyone knows. So, take this with a grain of salt. But basically, yours are both in Aquarius, which is super funny. Mars also deals with how you deal with the confrontation and tension. So, Aquarians tend to be very logical and pragmatic. So, but they're also, what's the word? I don't want to say weird. They're the kind of people who, people say God complex. I'm not people, I'm just telling you what they say. But they don't like to react emotionally because they kind of view themselves as above like petty squabbles and stuff like that. So if somebody is trying to get a reaction out of them, they're not the type of people who argue much. They kind of just are like, okay, well, if you want to continue having your wrong opinion, have it. They don't go out of their way to change people's minds about things. In Venus specifically, they tend to get along with people more romantically if there's a friendship connection beforehand and there's already an established rapport, because they also are not super don't like to be heavily tied down to romantic feelings and feeling like they have to be super present for their partner because they'd rather be with their friends half the time. So, oh my God, why are you laughing?
No, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah.
So they tend, again, like the best way to get in their pants, I guess, is to be their friend first.
Yeah.
And then see where that goes. Otherwise, they're kind of just like, okay, well, my partner is just another person that I have in my life. But there's a million things that I need to do today, so maybe I won't have time to hang out with them, and that's fine, and they will totally understand, and the partner does not understand.
Busy lives. Sometimes people have busy lives.
It can be a tough position for Venus to be in if you have a partner who likes bigger gestures and more romanticism and stuff like that. But you're lucky because I don't know that many men who are into that, so it's fine. They're like, we can be buddies.
No. I'm a huge lover. I'm very passionate and all of that. I am all about spreading love and
romantics.
Yeah, I do, of course. You know what it is? I'm practicing to receive. That's what it is. So that's what I'm practicing right now, is because I am such a doer and I am so busy and I'm efficient, I can get things done. But it is beautiful to also sit and receive.
Yes.
Right? And allow someone to gift you with that as well. So I think that's kind of my lesson in this stage of life. So
learning how to receive the energy.
Yes.
I feel like I'm in the same stage as you. Because I'm very much one of those people who it's like, do unto others as you would like them to do unto you.
Yes.
So I like to put out the energy that I want reciprocated.
Yeah.
But since it doesn't always go that way, I'm learning how to kind of take a step back.
And you're a Taurus. You're a
Yes.
Taurus. You guys are very, I have a few Tauruses in my life as well, and you guys are very giving, very thoughtful, very grounded. And actually my cousin, who's one of my best friends, is also a Taurus. But it is one of those things because naturally, I think human nature, you give so much to others, and when it's not reciprocated, there is that feel of, hey, like there's this imbalance.
Yeah.
There's an imbalance. But as they say, right, give and expect nothing in return.
Yes.
Right? But it's hard. It's
It
hard.
really is, especially if you pour a lot
Yes.
into.
I know, I feel you.
It can
But that's
be
where
tough.
boundaries come in, I feel too, especially
I
as
think
women.
that's my life lesson.
Yeah, having those boundaries of us
Impose
knowing.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Because yes, women are very apt to kind of just like give.
Yeah, we're that giver nature. Like we are always in that. We're nurturers. naturally.
Yes.
So we always want to make sure that everyone else is okay before ourselves.
See,
you know?
I need to embody what my mom's energy is, because her babies now are her plants. So she puts her nurturing energy into them, and they're big and they grow, they're huge. And plants don't do anything bad to you.
Yes, they don't talk back.
No, they just sit there and grow through all of the care and love that you give them. So I was like, okay, I need to find a hobby that I can pour into.
You know what? This was like very recent. I was just like, let me just try to garden. It was just one of those things. I was like, I need to trim a couple things at my house. It was, you know what? I just appreciate being in nature. Like, it was actually really nice. I had no idea what I was doing, but just being a part of it and like infusing myself in nature, it was actually very healing. It was really, really, really nice.
Being outside and bare feet in grass is like one of my favorite things.
Yes.
I love it. And every time I go on vacation and I look back at my camera roll of things that I took pictures of, it's always mainly trees.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, if I was a walking tourist stereotype,
It would,
like all of my memories, I was going through my phone when I took pictures of the setup, and all of my memories are different trips I went on and the different trees I took pictures of.
I love that. I love that. But it's the grounding, right? Because you are so grounded as a tourist.
I try to be.
Right? So like being in that environment, and I mean with trees, the roots are so grounded.
Yes.
Right? So like there's that little metaphor in there.
Stable.
Yes. Stable, yes.
And firm. I love that.
Yes.
Aimee, I wanted to ask you, since you did mention that your cousin who's a Taurus is one of your best friends.
Yes.
We like to ask our guests, okay, we're dealing with Astro Newbie, so I'm not going to go super deep into the placements. We're going to do like fun cursory sun sign stuff.
Okay.
Which sign do you not get along with?
I would probably say the most challenging for me perhaps would be more the water signs, because I am fire and they try to burn me out, you know? So perhaps I would say water signs.
Water signs, okay, that makes sense.
But I do get along very well with, I mean, I do feel like I connect with earth signs and air signs as well, but air, I get along very well. Because I don't know, I feel like, you know, like they fuel my fire, but then I can burn them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a nice balance between us.
It's funny that you say that, because a lot of people do say that Sagittarius is basically an air sign disguised as a fire sign, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yes. So they have a lot of the same qualities. I think because Sagittarius is also the oldest fire sign in the zodiac wheel as the final one, it kind of takes on all of the lessons from Aries and Leos and embodies that in a more mature way. Not to say that they're always going to be the most mature person in the room, but they tend to be more level-headed in comparison to other fire signs and really think things through.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, for me as a Sagittarius, it's always looking at both sides, right? And maybe that's the philosophy in us, is just understanding, having compassion. And that's what makes us these little mediators, right? Where it's like, okay, I get this perspective, but I also get this perspective, you know?
It's giving Libra, so no wonder you like the
air
signs.
Libra's water, yeah?
No, Libra's air.
Oh, air, okay.
Yeah. Everyone, we always talk about this on the podcast, so everyone already knows, like, I'm still, like, public enemy number one for me are still Libras, sorry. And Cancers, sorry, you're still on the shit list. I'm sorry, nothing's changed. But on the flip side of that, which signs do you find that you get along with the best? You said air signs and earth signs as well.
Yes.
Have you noticed a pattern in your dating life at all? Like, do you tend to attract the same type of people or people of a certain sign over others?
Well, I was with a Gemini for a very long time.
How is that? It's giving Brangelina.
Oh, yeah, because he's a Sag and he's, yeah.
Yes,
And I know we're kind of polar opposite on the wheel.
You are.
And then I also dated a Taurus for a while as well. So very different beings, very different.
Yes, I would imagine.
I dated a Libra as well. That didn't go as well. That was a little bit more, we all have a toxic relationship that we all go through, and that was my young learning lesson of life.
We have a toxic relationship, and it's always with somebody with Libra placements. Just kidding.
Really?
But somehow, not always a Libra, but somehow always a Libra.
Yeah.
It's like, not all men, but somehow always a man. Not all Libras, but somehow always a Libra.
That's funny.
Just saying.
That's funny. Yeah, that would be pretty much like my placements of experiences there with those type of signs. So I think for me, I definitely believe in that level of compatibility. I felt the one thing, let's say even with the Taurus, right? There's so much grounding energy with the Taurus, and as a Saggy, like there's so much freedom.
Yes.
So that was perhaps like the biggest challenge, was having us kind of understand, like, hey, let me get a little bit of that grounding energy without me feeling constricted.
Yes.
And let me give you the reassurances, right? That you need to. It goes both ways,
yes.
Right? So I feel like, yes, there's compatibility, and there's also understanding, there's growth, there's so much in between all of that.
Yes. Okay, and
I have a daughter who's a Capricorn. So I'm like,
I love Capricorn.
yeah, tell me more about Capricorns. Her name is Aria, and she's my little wildcat, and she's vibrant and independent and fierce. I told her I was doing a podcast today, and she was like so excited. And,
Oh, I love
and I said,
that.
okay, baby girl, I'm going to mention your name. So she's like, okay.
Hi, Aria. This
She'll
is
be
your
fine.
podcast shout out, little Capricorn. Honestly, my little sister's a Capricorn,
Okay.
so I love them. I adore them. I always tell everyone this, but our dynamic is so different. Have you heard of like eldest daughter syndrome and stuff like that? Like how eldest daughters kind of like bear the brunt of, if you're in a big family, especially kind of child rearing almost, and being a second parent,
Yes.
all of that stuff.
Yes.
So because my sister and I are so many years apart, I'm 10 years older than she is.
Okay.
I kind of went through my childhood as an only child per se, so I don't really ascribe to the eldest daughter woes.
Right.
Thankfully, I was lucky in that way. But also having a Capricorn for a little sister, I tell everyone my sister has basically been an adult her whole life. Like, she's always been a mini adult. She was definitely one of those kids who came home from school and would like make her own snack, but she's not making a sandwich. She'll make like mac and cheese or like cook something for herself. I'm not super proud of this, so I hope my parents don't see, but when I used to party a lot in high school, I would come home late, kind of tipsy.
Yeah.
And my sister, a lot of the times, would be up waiting for me. And she didn't know what drunk people were, but I would come home and I would be kind of not okay. And she would come sit on my bed and kind of stay with me until she felt like, basically tuck me in. And then go to bed. But a lot of the times I would be going to bed and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired and hungry. And she's like, oh, do you want a snack? And she would make me some food. So I feel like they're caregivers a lot of the time. And it's really funny because Capricorns have this stereotype against them as not being super nurturing or maternal. You know, they're known as the sign that is very ambitious and work centric. So they're like the workaholics of the zodiac. You know, they're efficient and focused, etc. I find them to be very mothering as well. And no one really mentions that about them a lot of the time. They have this like rigid, they are very stoic, I find. People with Capricorn placements tend to be pretty reserved, like in their personalities, unless they're around people they're comfortable with. So a lot of people do see them through this lens of like, oh, like this girl has like RBF, or it's like, no, they just don't know you. And a lot of the times they can't be bothered either. It's kind of like, I have my little circle.
Yeah.
It works for me, and
Yeah.
that's
No, that I see that. I mean, as I said, she's 5, right? But I see her stoic little personality, and she's very independent, and she wants to do things on her own, which is great. You know, I want to empower my daughter. I want her to be a fierce woman one day. But she is still very nurturing, and she can be very loving.
Yes.
At the same time, she is very thoughtful. I see her, but she is very tribal, right? Like I see her even with her cousins. They go to the same school, so like if her cousins aren't there, it's like, oh, my cousins aren't here, you know? And it's like, what am I gonna do? And it's like, baby, you got this, you got this, you have other people. But she will stick to her tribe.
Yes.
She will definitely stick to her tribe, which is
they're like that. They have their comfort zones. They're willing to step out of them if there is something to be gained.
yes.
But they're very, you know what it is? You mentioned boundaries. I find that Capricorns are very mindful of their time and energy. So they're not necessarily people pleasers, which is, I guess, kind of why they have this reputation, or can have a reputation for being kind of difficult. But to them, it's just they do what makes sense.
Which is kind of inspiring, right? At the end
It
of the
is.
day, that is
I
very
love that energy.
yeah, it's great energy. So everything is a balance, right? We're just all trying to figure shit out. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to figure it out.
We're all trying to use our charts to do the work.
Yes.
That's kind of how I got into astrology. Everyone always asks, how did you get into astrology? I'm not an astrologer by any means, but I'm like learning slowly, and one of the best parts about having this podcast is that I get to have a lot of guests, and all of my guests teach me and Nicole something.
Yeah.
We gain really valuable insight and lessons, just like you. I'm drinking wines that I haven't heard of from regions that I'm not super familiar with, but this is kind of like lit the spark for me to go out and explore a bit more. And obviously this gorgeous location makes it easy too, because Tauruses love beautiful things.
Yes.
But how I got into astrology is literally just, I had a crush and I became obsessed with a boy, and I wanted to know if we were going to be compatible.
And then from there it just went.
Exactly. And my friend was like, well, you can't look at the sun sign, you have to look at the birth chart. I'm like, what is a birth chart?
Yeah, and then it's really cool. Have you ever been to Sedona in Arizona?
No.
Okay, go explore that part of the world. It's beautiful, babe.
Is it?
It's all about this whole spiritual journey and astrological stuff, and there's different vortexes there. But that realm is very much like-minded people, you know, in that space. It's beautiful. Sedona. And it's in the US. It's Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a quick little flight. I did that when I turned 40. That was my trip that I did with my Taurus cousin and my Gemini sister.
You
So
never
it's-
said your sister was a Gemini.
She's a Gemini.
You got opposite signs in the same house.
I know.
You buried the lead. What are your parents' signs?
My mom is a Cancer.
Aw.
Right.
Mommy sign.
Yeah, heavy mommy sign. Maybe too much of that love, you know, but blessings, of course I'm going to take it. My father's a Taurus.
Oh,
So very grounded, very thoughtful, very business-oriented, entrepreneur. I mean, this is a family business, right? So very generous man, my father, and definitely provides a lot of mentorship. And my mother is the one, because I know Taurus and Cancer are a good match.
I was going to say, on paper, just like based on the sun sign, the synastry is great.
Yeah. So my mother is more of that grounding energy, right? The very loving energy, the sacrificial energy, you know.
Cancer women love to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And tell you all about it.
And tell you all about it. It's so funny, you know. Now that both my sister and I have kids, it's like, becomes like this little comparison game of like, I had it harder, you know, it was like this. And I'm like, no one's competing here, you know, we're just all doing the best that we can. But they have to make it known.
Yes.
They have to make it known.
To tell you. I love looking at family astrology because of the dynamics of, like, you have everything in your family, and I just find it so interesting that each of you is so different.
We're all so different, babe. And we usually try to have Sunday lunch together. And of course, we always have wine. It's always part of our tradition.
Yes.
So it always starts off super nice, and then by the end of it, there's some sort of argument that happened. But you know, the beauty of, I feel like, our family, you squash it the next day.
Yes.
You know, it's one of those things, you know, we have the ability to hash it out, and then the next day it's like, okay, whatever, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, perfect. You know, like there's that loving, forgiving space.
Yes.
There's that authentic space. There's that pure space that we have with each other.
It is
So
authentic.
Sunday lunches are very eventful. And
No, I
we're in
love
business
that.
together, so you can imagine that on top of it, you know. So it's like so encompassing of so many different layers.
How many glasses does it take before things pop off?
Probably at least 2 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 to 3 at least.
That sounds reasonable.
Yes, yeah.
Honestly.
But it's a good time.
It sounds fun. I used to do that with my family, like back when I actually used to live in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live at my aunt's house. My parents were in Angola, so yes, our whole family would come over. My grandma, rest her soul, would cook for us, and it'd be like a big long table with at least like 12, 13, 14 of us.
Yeah.
And I was a little kid, so I didn't get to have any wine.
Yeah.
But it just, those memories kind of stick with you forever. So
Absolutely.
the fact that you guys are still able to do that, like now that you're all adults, is really special.
Yeah, it is. We take it for granted, you know, because we have it. It's in our presence. But it really is a blessing to have that. And have my parents well and healthy and, you know, all of that.
But it sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that pretty much wraps things up for us. Aimee, I'm definitely going to send you a copy of your birth chart so you can
Please
dig
do.
deeper.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll tell you about aspects and all of this other stuff. Like I was looking at it. I don't want to be on my phone for too long, but you have a very interesting chart. Anyway, guys, so we're wrapping up our episode here at Downtown Winery. Aimee, thank you so much for doing this and being a guest. I can't wait to share the episode with you guys. TikTok, Wine Astrology Pod on TikTok. We'll be posting little clips there. Obviously, releasing the episode next week as well on the 17th in Nicole's absence. And I will be posting about Downtown Winery and Aimee on our Instagram, just to give you guys a heads up, linking the wines that we tried today as well in the show notes. So stay tuned, Astro Baddies and Daddies. And Aimee, did you want to plug anything for
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming into my establishment. It makes me happy to have the ability to share the space, drink some wine, have just beautiful and have nice human connection.
Yes.
You know, I think we should cheers to that. Is that we need a little bit more of that.
There's more.
Yay! So thank you so much, and I look forward to getting my chart.
I will send it on.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Aimee.
Cheers, everyone.
And everybody, as always,